Hello. This is the story behind the song Trust. So, my mom passed in 2024, and she was a super arts, craftsy kind of person. She loved children. She was a preschool teacher, loved children's ministry. As far as her courage went, she always considered herself not a courageous or brave person. She squeamish at the sight of blood. She hated bugs, etc. She was not super active or strong physically, and she actually didn't lead a super healthy life. Went on dialysis in 2021. And if you don't know, hemodialysis is a process basically where a machine turns into your kidneys for you. So you go to hemodialysis a few times a week for several hours at a time, and they run your blood. They take it out of your body, run it through a filter machine, and put it back in. And it's a really grueling, taxing process on the body. So she had been on dialysis for about 3 years before she went into the emergency room. It was January 28th of 2024. I actually was leading that Sunday. I was on rotation to lead worship for our service on that Sunday, and I don't really, usually when that happens, I don't really get to see my husband until after the first set is complete. So finding him after the first set, he told me, hey, Mom was taken to the ER, and so we went to see her that afternoon, and it was a 2-hour drive. We ended up staying about 2 weeks. We found out that she needed heart surgery, open heart surgery. She had a heart attack, and her heart was about 50% blocked all over. So she had open heart surgery February 2nd, and there was concern that she wasn't going to have the strength to recover. And that did turn out to be true. There was a lot of in and out of ICUs and long-term care and rehabilitation, trying to get her back on her feet. And she never did make it back on her feet. The church family, our friends and family surrounded us in prayer, surrounded her in prayer. It was hard on us, on my family, being an only child as well, adding support and wanting to be there 2 hours away. We made several trips. I went sometimes with all my family, which was rare for all of us to go after that, but sometimes I'd take one kid or two kids or no kids with me on these excursions, and to see how she was doing, to see what was going on when she would go to the hospital this time. And so there was a lot of back and forth between the hospital and care, and a lot of different things came up, a lot of different things they found. She had a lot of things going on, so it was not just texting on her, but on all of us. But her life verse, her favorite verse for all time, was Philippians 4:13. I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. She would always say that she wasn't brave. I don't think that she took that verse in obedience, if you know what I mean. She really was a person like that. I can't do this, and if it's going to be done, the Lord's going to have to do it. Like, he's going to have to do it through me. And she definitely clung to that verse a lot through that time and through that year. And she was tired, and she was a diabetic, so she had a lot of wound care going on at the same time, and it just was not a great situation. And she ended up passing August 2nd, and we got to say goodbye to her with singing and hymn singing. Her sisters and brothers were there. So I think that it was a testimony to the people around us in the hospital as well. They definitely came up to me afterwards to say, man, that was the best way to go. Like, we see so much death, and that was the best way anyone could expect to pass, is being surrounded by your family, singing hymns and singing about the Lord. So anyways, throughout this whole season, she dealt with a lot of pain during that time, and so she would call and just say, hey, would you sing that song that you wrote for me? And I specifically wrote it for her, to her heart, to remind her of Philippians. It says, don't be anxious for anything. And we can mourn over what could have been, what would have been in the past, but that's gone. And today is the day to trust the Lord and to look to him and to gain strength from his presence. So anyways, this is how trust was born.